Arcane Season 2 has made a lot of fuss. The clips and songs get some staggering amounts of views. The ratings are remarkably high, and the praise it gets in the comments is unreal, unbeatable, impeccable, the best show ever. Well, we'll see. I'm not biased at all. I don't play League of Legends. I don't hate it or like it. The only thing I remember is that the first season was great. And with that in mind, let's rate it. Wait, what's happening? Nah, really, what's... Oh, I remember you. Okay, so she died, but why am I looking at this? Okay, gotta refresh my memory a little bit. So we see the events that occur right where they stopped in the previous season. Jinx has launched a rocket that exploded right at the council meeting place. It seems like a good half of the councilors died, and only Jace and Mel are more or less fine. Victor is also on the brink of death, and Jace uses the hex core in an attempt to save him. It eventually explodes, and that is the intro. It's pretty good. It portrays the feeling of despair, chaos, and uncertainty really well. Then there is the other intro. Like, you know, the one that plays in the beginning of each episode. It's spoilery enough, but really, who's gonna look at it frame by frame? The visuals are pretty good. The style has changed from the first season. The song is still a banger, and is iconic at this point. So we see the funeral of Caitlyn's mother, who looks pretty good for someone who died in an explosion. The song is fitting for the scene, and is genuinely really good on its own, but the visuals are questionable. I know they are supposed to demonstrate depression and sadness, and maybe they achieve that, but they also don't look good. Like, what is this? I also watched this not in the best video quality for the first time, so you can imagine my frustration. We transition into the councilors' meeting, where Sallow, what a weird name, strives to start a war between the Undercity and the Upper City, planning to use the Hextech in it. Mel tries to highlight Jinx as the only problem.
This was the act of a single deranged individual.
But sadly for her...
Then it's settled. 2-1. We invade.
Well, at least she manages to eliminate the use of Hextech. No. Also, this shot reminds me of this picture. Then we see Caitlyn and her father. He gives her the Kiraman key, whatever that is. She also regrets not shooting Jinx, and buckle up, cause that's not the last time she'll feel that way. Caitlyn's father then says,
"What is she still doing here?"
And yeah, why is she here? You can't just be in someone else's mansion. Kate and I have a conversation, though at first it seems like I'm on the wrong website. Just already. So Vi wants to take Jinx down by herself, but when Caitlyn says the enforcers are coming after her and that Vi could help, she refuses, saying she will not work with enforcers because they killed their parents. She then goes to sit under the bridge. So all these scenes are blatantly boring. Not much happens, and it feels like they are stretched out. I don't feel anything watching them. Nonetheless, a bunch of more unnecessary talk happens.
Mel, I promised Victor. Never again.
Caitlyn sees visions of herself shooting Jinx, and she meets Jace. It's like Riot Games remembered those two were a couple some time ago. So she tells Jace how easy it is to hate them. Them. Now the big question is, who's them? People. Why not just say people then? The people in the Undercity? Well, that would be weird because they are no different from anyone else. So what is it? You know, my whole attitude to this episode is perfectly portrayed by this big guy.
Me. Joined the Peanut Patrol. And I thought she had no sense of humor.
Like peanuts.
Then we are introduced to a new character.
All you, get your asses down here now! Attention!
Junior Officer Nolan. Maddie. So she exists. Definitely. That's what she does, surely. Look, there she is, she exists! Meanwhile, there's a big speech by Mel about mourning the deaths of the counselors. And right there, an attack happens. More precisely, the attackers are This woman, remember her? Probably not. And Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Side note, do not warn your enemy before trying to kill him. Yeah, this part is just not interesting either. It's just some random dudes fighting. There is no personality to the fight, no real conflict, no interesting tricks or schemes either. There is some epilepsy though. In the end, the Noxians solve the issue. They literally do a few headshots, and that's it. This also means that a spear throw is more deadly than a bullet. Then there is another just scene.
The hole gets smaller, but...
Caitlyn uses her new obtained Kerman key to look at... Hell if I know what that is. At the end, there's finally a pretty good scene. Caitlyn comes into the counselor's meeting, which is now held directly in the deepest catacombs possible, tells everyone to keep their mouths shut, and lays out her plan to take down Jinx, Shimmer, and Silco's goons. This actually feels like one of those dumb transformation scenes from mobile game ads. It turns out they used Hextech for their weapons.
Todo despeinado porque no me dio tiempo nada ponerme la chancla y el bañador. Voy a la playa, había subido la marea.
And Vi is with them as well. It's all tied together by a pretty cool song, Heavy is the Crown, which is a Linkin Park song, what? And a great montage of Jace working on weaponry in his dungeon. These scenes with Jace are always great. Victor, by the way, is in fact alive. Doctor, remember him? Hunts for some creatures as an outro. Weird, surely weird. A pretty weak start to the season, not much is happening, and when it does, it's still pretty boring. The section after the intro where it's all grim is probably supposed to be sad, but it's just dull. And the action scenes are not interesting either. Well, at least the start and the end are fine. I would give this a B or C tier. Definitely could have been better. Jinx has a monologue about how bad the situation in the underground is. It's as bad as when Vander died, but this time there is no Silco to fix everything, because surprise, she killed him. Don't know if they're really in the water, but Jinx is kind of drowning here. She's overwhelmed. She remembers all the moments with Silco and finally lets him go. Not really. What a nice relationship. However, the scene doesn't quite work. At least because it's been in one whole episode since he died, and at most because Jinx isn't even that sad herself. Also, this is the first scene with Jinx in the second season, and the first time we see her after she exploded the counselors, and she doesn't even mention that at all. And spoiler, she never will. I also have a question for the experts who break down each scene frame by frame. What is this circle? What does it represent? I really have no idea. So the intro. Who's this? Probably some cool new character who'll play a significant role. Anyway, we've got a really cool clip. It shows the timeline and the state of the Undercity. Love how Sevika turns her back when Silco dies. Cool detail. What else can I say about the clip? Stylish. The song is amazing as well. It's too good. By simple contingency, some random kid being chased by collectors, I presume, gets saved by Jinx. Well, he just goes his own way, and we never... Oh god. Well, hello there. I've seen you before. So, the cat and his gang arrive at some place.
The Grey.
What do you mean, Negray? What does it mean? It seems like there's been a huge party here. Probably a gay party. At the end, we see the spaghetti monster. I don't understand how some people have no self-preservation and don't run on sight. But that's not my problem, I guess. Next, we have a council meeting at home. Like, you know, the meme. Mom, can we have a council meeting? We already have a council... Sevika suggests joining forces against the top side, but this lady would rather join it. And this guy says they're outnumbered 4-1 at best. Our friend, though, offers a great idea.
I got a different solution. We give them Jinx. That's all they really want.
Sadly, he doesn't realize that's not the only thing they really want, and he would likely got dealt with anyway. Sevika denies that offer, saying they don't hand over their people. That's interesting, because it's exactly what Vander used to say and do. And since Civica shares similar beliefs with Silco, does that mean him and Vander are even closer? Anyway, the cat doesn't like that response, and goes for the roast.
Bird without a wing's just a funny-looking rat.
I genuinely thought it was about Civica being without Silco, but it's probably about her arm. He offers her a new one if she catches Jinx. We cut to Civica trying to fix her situation using their own methods. Seriously, what is she doing? I guess you can really say some help could come in handy. Baby Blue pays her a visit, and they both bond over roasting Silco. The cat follows Civica and finds Jinx. I guess that's fine, smart move, sure, whatever. Also, what's the point of a hood if your pretty distinctive braids are falling out of it anyway? Victor has successfully become a ghoul. Jace greets Victor, but the latter responds coldly. He was supposed to die, but because Jace didn't destroy the hex core, Victor survived. Jace is amused by the hex core, but Victor points out it killed Sky. Who's that once again? Right. Jace says he's gonna resign from the council and return to the lab with Victor. Little does he know, Victor leaves, saying their paths diverged long ago, and that affection was the only thing keeping them together.
I never asked for this!
Yeah, Jace, you're gonna remember these words. Yeah, Victor is really cold here, and the whole interaction isn't that interesting. Then we get to Echo, who sees new people arriving at his place. This means there are gonna be capacity issues soon, but Echo doesn't want to turn people away. A nice dialogue. Unfortunately, it doesn't lead anywhere. Why am I even telling you this? Echo notices the leaves of the tree have a weird pigment. He goes to Heimerdinger, who recalls seeing something similar in the past. They try to break into the lab.
The brambleback has left the jungle.
You do realize code phrases don't work when you make them up on the spot.
We've got a comedian. They get noticed, and this is probably one of the funniest scenes in the second season.
Professor!
Yes, of course. What the devil's gotten into you?
I thought... Why are you breaking into my lab?
I love how they made Heimerdinger a little goofy for the comedic effect, and it certainly worked. Jace confirms the corruption on the leaf matches the one on the plants they've tested with the hex core. You know who else it corrupted? You know. Hitler. Jinx built something of an interesting shape. And oh god, the enforcers are here. I forgot they existed. They try to smoke out Jinx, who almost shoots Vi. Caitlyn is so angry she shoots Jinx. Nah, it's only in target. Jinx escapes, but a surprise awaits her. The cat is already there.
Hey,
Jinx.
I've got a surprise for you.
He says he likes to get in close, but Jinx replies that anyone who gets close to her dies, including Silco. Which is only half truth, cause Vi is alive, and Caitlyn is alive, and probably a lot more of people is alive, but sure. Surprisingly, that trash talk works, and I guess you can really say Jinx gave Civica a hand. And here you can witness a truly unique scene. The only good thing about it is the song, and even then it's cut. And what are those lyrics? The cat, oh his name is Smeech, wants to make a deal.
You forget Smeech? You already made your last offer.
And of course, no self-preservation, the warrior has no goal, only the path. Damn, you can really say Civica can throw hands. Vi and Caitlyn arrive at the scene, only to find Civica's new arm and the traces of a fight. The enforcers spread out to search the area. But Jinx is long gone. This episode ends with a shot of Victor examining the corruption spreading through his lab, foreshadowing darker things to come. Wait, what? That's not what happened. Just kidding, I generated this part using AI. It didn't disappoint. What actually happens is Victor being followed by ghouls. He looks like some kind of savior here. Nice design choice. He's able to heal the disease caused by Shimmer, just like the hex core healed him. The doctor, his name is actually Synced, is conducting some kind of research. Well, good luck to him. Hopefully nothing bad happens. The episode is surely better than the previous one. More events are happening, the music is better, but that's about it. It's about as good as B tier, and so far it doesn't look too good for the second season. So we see what Caitlyn saw using that Kiramin key.
The rise of industry and emissions has led to the air becoming increasingly toxic. We call it the grey.
Oh, so that's what happened in the previous episode. Then there is a montage. Super cool song. I've been listening to it for a couple of days now. Great visuals, great sing. Damn, they can make these intros. Eventually, our group falls into Jinx's trap. Where is your equanimity now? Okay, so it wasn't just a trap for the sake of being a trap. That was actually the Cats guy, who says Jinx is preparing to do something big involving events. Whether it was Jinx's plan or not, Vi sees the fear in her comrades as a potential weakness and proposes going after the Psycho without them. Caitlyn asks if Vi is ready to deal with Jinx, to which she responds,
Sister is gone. There's only Jinx now.
Remember those words. Oh god, do I really need to make another AI video? Never mind. Meanwhile, Ambessa Medarda meets with someone named Amara, a member of Piltover's Merchant Guild. Amara claims she's there to settle the debt, and at that moment I would definitely keep my guard up. Well, too late. The witch declares that Piltover is within their reach, to which Ambessa retorts that her son is dead and now is supposed to sate their bloodlust. Amara counters, revealing that they know what Ambessa is pursuing in Piltover, confirming Ambessa's suspicions. Ambessa breaks free and kills Amara, but with her dying breath, Amara claims that her death is meaningless and that Ambessa should have abandoned the feud. What is this all about? I really hope there's a solid explanation coming later, because I'm completely lost here. Ambessa says she needs the control now, for which she plans using Sallow. She will not use Mel, as keeping her as far as possible will make the daughter safer. Or that's what she believes. Here's Sallow, by the way. Ladycat and Superbug. Well, yeah, he explains that he's not doing anything because he's waiting for Caitlyn to find Jinx. He claims there's not much he can do since Caitlyn is a Kiramin, a name that holds a significant power. He even compares the Kiramin name to Medarda, implying that Mel only achieved her status because of her family name. For that, Ambessa beats him up and commands him to rally families with influence. And he just agrees. Mel meets with the cat woman, whose name is Last. At first, Last refuses to share what she knows, but Mel manages to persuade her to talk. She also gives Mel a brand new cocktail. It's made with shimmer, which I suppose is forbidden, so Sala using it means he's easy to shut down. At last, she says Ambessa was scared.
Like a cat backed into a corner.
Ha ha, ooh, he, ha ha. And I thought my jokes were bad.
Meanwhile, Jace says there's a concept that Victor called the Wild Runes. He explains the difference between the Wild Runes and the runes they use in Hextech. The Hextech runes are like using words to elicit their action. The Wild Runes are something raw, natural, like a sigh. The Arcane is dormant, but in some places it's more active, and in those places it leaves marks, just like those on the tree. They go underground, under the Hex Gates, to find the answer. Insanity, what can I say? It's a fail-safe in case the Hex Gate overloads. These are the same utility ducts that carry the water and facilitate the ventilation of Undercity, so that explains why the tree is affected. But suddenly, it starts. At the same time, Vi and Caitlyn find Jinx. A little trash talk happens, and I want you to remember this.
Done pretending you're my sister, you're not.
Caitlyn shoots Jinx, but of course, it cannot be that easy. Okay, I know this is a fantasy, and some unrealistic things can be overlooked, but in this sequence, they teleport around so shamelessly and blatantly that it's downright enraging. Still though, this is the sequence. The music, the action, the characters involved, the visuals, the slow-mo, the transitions, everything's perfect. Definitely the best scene so far. Jace, Heimerdinger, and Echo get sucked into this thing and disappear, while Jinx, Vi, Caitlyn, and Savika have a scuffle. With Isha, that's the name of the kid, remember that, watching it all. The Hextech weapons start to glitch, giving Team Jinx the advantage. But eventually, Vi's gauntlets start working again, and Caitlyn uses the glitching to her advantage. The only weird thing is how Jinx's rocket launcher doesn't glitch for some reason. Eventually, Jinx overpowers Vi for a second, and that's when Caitlyn shoots her finger off. Jinx is laying powerless, having accepted her death. And here's where the bullshit starts. The kid runs a shit ton of distance and shields Jinx before Vi can even land a single hit. Then the kid almost shoots her, and if it weren't for Caitlyn, Vi would be dead. The kid kind of shields Jinx, but obviously doesn't cover enough of her body. It's still over. But then Vi, for some goddamn reason, goes out of her way to protect the kid.
Kate! She's a child!
Who's touching the child? Don't touch the child! Don't touch the child!
Who the hell cares? They are literally one step away from achieving their goal. Fortunately, Caitlyn has enough sense to do the right thing and kill Jinx. Of course not. Jinx gets saved at the last second, Savika destroys the barrier, and all the toxic gases escape. In different colors. Somehow, this bullshit allows Jinx to escape once again.
Jinx from Arcane.
Oh, for God's sake. The problem is, Riot Games made Jinx a #1 psycho and most wanted criminal. This cranks up the tension and makes the story more interesting. Everyone's talking about her and trying to find her. Obviously, it wouldn't make sense for her to get caught by some random nobody. They could have introduced a new character to take her down, but he then would have needed more development and so on and so forth. So instead, we get Caitlyn and Vi taking her on, which admittedly is hype. This fight has been anticipated for ages. But here's the catch. Both Jinx and Vi are the main characters, and it's only the 3rd episode. Killing one of them this early would be insane. So instead, we're stuck with this bullshit, where kids outrun light, and Jinx escapes in the most absurd ways imaginable. Next, Vi gets scolded by Kate. To that, Vi snaps back. Kate calmly responds that she wouldn't miss, which is believable. But even if she did, is one kid's life worth the risk of letting a psycho criminal who's already killed at least a dozen innocents,
Half a dozen enforcers dead! Enforcers dead!
and has the potential to kill more, go free? What's wrong with you is the answer we get. Vi accuses Kate of acting like Jinx, which earns her a well-deserved backlash. As planned, Salo rallied some important people, and Ambassa, interesting look, uses Amara's death as an opportunity, claiming she was killed by Zonite assassins. She doubles down by bringing up Jinx's stunt and the memorial attack from the 1st episode. Wrath must be met with wrath, and so she proposes appointing a general to lead the war against Zon. I love how Salo is implied to be the one, but it turns out
Caitlyn Karaman.
a clever touch, considering how Salo himself earlier emphasized the weight of the Karaman name. It's then shown the attack from the 1st episode was planned by Ambassa. Although it's shown so concisely, it's funny. Like he just comes in, finds her, and offers vengeance for her son. And that's all. A big part of why Caitlyn actually agrees is probably due to failing killing Jinx. Doesn't justify that scene, but there it is. Overall, a pretty good scene. It is tense and unexpected. Before that though, Mel is captured by the Black Rose, meaning she couldn't allege Salo of using the Shimmer cocktail that was mentioned before. And at the end, traditionally, the doctor transfuses his blood into this shell. Look at his face. This is definitely a higher tier episode. A lot of important events happen. The plot is moving pretty fast, the twists are cool, and the songs and the action are great. Some may argue S tier, but I think it's more of an A. There are some heavy inconsistencies and weak parts, which in my eyes just don't let it rise that high. Okay, so we start with a flashback of Vi, where she used to fight in the underground. Weirdly, this big guy supports her, so that means they knew each other before the 1st episode? Wait, why is there Caitlyn? Oh, this is the flash forward. And this is the wrong episode. Okay, so the actual 4th episode. Another song, another great intro. I used to like this a lot, but now I love it even more. Also, these comments are freaking hilarious. So, some time has passed, and this is actually the beginning of the Act 2. Now there is a new faction, the Jinxers. The war between the Undercity and the Upper City is still on, and Ambassa has delivered Zon to the latter, whatever that means. Obviously this scene is really awkward. Mary is constantly joking off Caitlyn, saying how she's the leader, and everyone follows her and blah blah blah. This scene will hold significance later, but wasn't there another way to write it? To be a little less awkward. Meanwhile, Ambassa and her partner observe an experiment with the Hextech.
I'm gonna make this pencil disappear. It's gone.
I love how this scene implies they went who knows where to watch a single test of an incredibly unstable item, which has proven to be extremely dangerous, performed by a random guy who's for some reason in the same room as the Hextech itself. Ambassa believes that Black Rose is behind Heimerdinger's and Jace's disappearances. The words,
"The moment we seize control of this backwater, everyone with an inkling of talent vanishes,"
also imply Heimerdinger, Victor and Jace are the only scientists in all of Piltover who can work with the Hextech at all. And judging by the experiment shown, that's not so hard to believe. Oh, his name is Rictus, by the way. It looks like one of those arena fights is about to happen. Never like that stuff. How am I supposed to sympathize with a random mons? Okay. Jinx loses and dyes Isha's hair blue. After that, Rictus catches one of the Jinxers. Isha pulls off some insane feat. No, really, this is beyond feasible. As a result, people think Jinx has returned. Ambassa suggests arresting the man Rictus caught to find Jinx, prompting Caitlyn to ask,
"Why is peace always the justification for violence?"
Ambassa responds with a rhetorical question. Does Caitlyn have the strength to forgive? Smart move, as that clearly triggers Caitlyn. As we cut to the general visiting the memorial while Rictus beats the shit out of Jinxer.
Like that?
Indicating that Caitlyn chose not to forgive Jinx. There's also a great parallel, as it seems like both Kate and a friend of Echo visit the same memorial, but they're different. Echo is being mourned. And eventually, the man reveals the coordinates. A lot of people gather around the statue, even Singh is here. Sevika gives an impressive speech, I really liked it, but the crowd wants Jinx. The kid appears, everyone's cheering, but the enforcers are already here.
Fatality.
A bunch of people get arrested, including Isha and Singh, who's got a surprise, but that's later. Meanwhile, Jinx is talking with Chair. It's a great scene for sure, much better than the one at the start of the second episode. It's pretty sad, but I gotta say, this is funny.
If you care so much about me playing your stupid revolution game, speak up now.
She returns to her usual place, only to find out about the situation that has occurred at the statue. Hearing the news makes her mind revert to season 1. So the crowd arrives to prison, and I want you to remember these words.
Chin up, little one. We won't be staying long.
James goes for the save, and I see Riot Games wanted to add some comedy, but this is beyond reasonable.
You expect me to believe Jinx, the master criminal, wears pants like that?
So they arrive at the prison and unlock the cells. Wait, why are we smiling? We're still in the prison. Yeah, that's a bummer. The Beast, which is attracted to Singh's blood, arrives there as well, attacking Ambassa and killing almost all the prisoners and guards. Jinx saves Isha.
You're late for Stinkma's great comeuppance.
Then IT arrives. Wait, what? Then it arrives. Sevika saves the kid, while Jinx battles the monster. It's pretty interesting to see how they fare, as they are both far above a normal human in strength. I like the Doom music used here, though the fight itself isn't all that. Jinx ultimately loses and tries to use the grenade as a last resort, but no. When she's about to die, the monster recognizes someone familiar, saying, "Yeah, it's Vander, woohoo!" Oh yeah, Sala goes to Victor, by the way. A good episode. There's not much to highlight, it's just solid all around. I think the third one peaks higher and is overall better though. Okay, so that's it for today. I added subtitles and would like to hear your opinion about them. I intentionally left out some of the auto transcriptions, because sometimes they pull off some unorthodox shit. The other candidates I fixed are on your screen. Feel free to guess which ones belong to which character's name. I'd also like to hear your thoughts about the video and the tier list itself. I don't know, it feels like a lot of people don't agree with my opinions here at all. All of the episodes are rated insanely high on IMDb, and I don't think that's reasonable at all. Well, I'll talk more about that in the second part of this video. The big boys are coming up, and they've gotta be good, right?